Hello Exiles, this is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming and welcome to another Path of Exile 2 video. In today's video I'm going to go over the good, the bad, and the ugly of the League start for Dawn of the Hunt. Currently level 47 Amazon, just getting on into the second half of the campaign. A little slow going, and many of you probably know why. Performance issues in terms of constant crashes and FPS drops were just absolutely rampant. During the first several hours of the League launch, I played starting from 3 p.m. and I played until 11 p.m., then went to bed and got up and played again. And in that first evening, late afternoon and evening I was playing on 7 FPS pretty much the whole time, and I was getting crashes almost every time I went back to town for the first couple hours, a lot of times when I was engaging with wisps, just sometimes randomly for no reason I could really discern, especially when going from checkpoint to checkpoint or changing zones. There was just a lot going on, crashing a lot, messing around with my settings, so it took me forever to progress. I basically didn't even fully get through Act 2 in those first 7 hours I played. In fact, if you look at my playtime currently, over 14 and a half hours. Current deaths, 20. So yeah, obviously I died playing at 7 FPS. You know, it happens. You can't see everything that's going on. But so that's kind of the ugly of it. As far as the good, we'll do the bad last. Yeah, we'll do the bad last. As far as the good, I think that I was able to find, kind of the right combo of things to make leveling smooth considering how bad the performance was. So what I started off with was, of course, you get Whirling Slash right away. And I actually went with Contagion, got some int, went with Contagion, and used this up until I got Rake. And so what my first kind of setup was Contagion with Unleash. The reason I use Unleash is because it basically allows you to hit multiple monsters in the pack, meaning that it makes it easier to kill things with your AoE skills than at that point to spread the contagion. And then I was using Whirling Slash to finish them off. So I drop Contagion, Whirling Slash a couple of times, 2 or 3 times, and then dodge roll out of it or disengage out of it. Whirling Slash explodes, kills the monsters. Then it spreads the contagion, which gets a more damage multiplier for each time it's spread. It kills more things because they've been damaged by the Whirling Strike as well. And then it spreads and it does more damage, up to 300%. So this was working great. Then I put Swift Affliction on Contagion, and I ran that up until I discovered a new tech. So a lot of people figured this out. I figured it out maybe half of way through Act 1. Rake plus Stomping Ground is extremely powerful in the early game. So what this does is it triggers a shockwave when you take a step using the supported skill. This supports travel skills, and it does a shockwave that scales off your strength and is AoE. So it does 100 to 150% of your strength as the base damage, 100%. With a crit chance of 5, and then it's attack, AoE, trigger, and physical, meaning you can scale it with the tree as well with attack damage and physical damage, such as things like these physical attack damage notes here. Blinding Strike I used as well early on. So all you really have to do to get a ton of damage and enough to absolutely carry me through the first 2 acts is just make all of your attribute nodes strength, basically, except for whatever you need to level up your skills. And so get primarily strength and do a lot of pathing, and on top of that get some attack damage or physical damage. So I got up to Splinters and Blinding Strikes, and then I got all strength, lots and lots of travel nodes, all strength, and Maiming Strike as well. So once doing that, you just do a lot of damage. I mean, compared to how much health things have early game, you're absolutely chunking everything, one-shotting every white mob pack, killing rares in maybe 2 or 3 hits. Geonor went down real quick, not quite as quick as an Ice Strike dropping bells from last patch, but pretty quick still. I didn't have any trouble with him whatsoever. It also does physical damage, so it builds up your stun really quickly. On top of that, the Stomping Ground, And you're going to find Stomping Ground is doing probably like 80% of your damage for pretty much all of Act 1 when you start using it with Rake, and a decent amount of Act 2 as well, until it kind of finally starts falling off to the point where you might want to swap out of it about a little ways into Act 3, which is what I did. So now I'm going for a bleed build. I have other stuff socketed in. I'm not actually using Spear Stab and Spear Throw, even though they do have very, very high damage multipliers. And honestly, you probably could be building around these in some capacity at least. I do just randomly have some supports on these because I was briefly using Spear Throw. I was like diving in, getting a bleed, throwing spears, but and then I just have kind of Blood in the Eyes as a space holder. But my real actual skills that I use frequently, I'll start the combat scenario with Bloodhound's Mark, which will basically make it so that a portion of blood loss will count towards heavy stun buildup, and they get just a lot of stun base, more or less, is what happens. And I believe once they get stunned, or once they die, this large explosion will go off, and yeah, it's pretty substantial as well. So get a nice little burst damage, then you just recast it and do it all over again. And as long as they're bleeding, the duration for the mark doesn't go down. So you can keep this up permanently if you don't A, trigger the explosion, or B, remove the bleed. For instance, with another skill we have Blood Hunt. Then you have to kind of reapply or quickly reapply the bleed to kind of freeze the Bloodhound's Mark in place. Currently I have Arcane Tempo and Single Out. Single Out gives it armor break, which can be pretty substantial, so supports mark skills. Enemies affected by supported marks will have their armor broken by physical damage they take. I just do physical damage, so it's just a little bit of extra bonus damage to put Single Out on there. There's probably some other nice stuff you could do with this, but overall seems pretty nice. Rake itself I have with Momentum because you only have to travel 2 meters, and we are often, the combo is kind of to lunge in with Rake and then disengage right away, and then lunge in again and kind of fish for a big crit bleed that is also aggravated. Aggravated makes it so that they take bleeds as if they're moving, which does 100% more damage. So you want to get an aggravate and a crit, and we have no crit chance on the tree, but we get a lot of extra crit from this critical strike node here on the Amazon, which makes it so that our chance to hit can exceed 100%, and we gain crit chance equal to 25% of excess chance to hit with attacks. That seems to be flat crit chance. So for instance here, you can see my excess chance to hit is 29%. My normal crit chance would be 10.46%, but then I have 40.6 crit strike chance estimated. So yeah, it seems to scale quite nicely. Once you get some accuracy going and you're substantially above the 100% necessary to hit in most cases. The only accuracy I'm currently scaling is this wheel right here with Falcon Dive. Other than that, I don't really have any accuracy. I should be getting like Eagle Eye. I will be getting some other accuracy and dex stuff, like I'll be getting Enhanced Reflexes, Nearsighted, Falcon Technique. All the dexterity scaling will go towards that as well. I also have some extra accuracy from Precise Point here. So yeah, you definitely want some accuracy scaling. Then you want a lot of crit damage because you're going to get so much crit chance. So things like Cooked is going to be really nice. I am currently taking Javelin because for 3 points for 64%, it's incredibly efficient. By the way, this is 4 points for 105%, but the downside is that you get 15% global defenses, and I'm already a little bit squishy, so I'm not taking this just yet, but I'm definitely taking it because it's like the best crit damage for 4 points you could possibly get. Lots of other nice stuff to be taken in the area as well. Like, of course, you're going to want to go up and get like Heartbreaking and then Stuck Through and Heart Stopping. That'll help cap off the crit chance. And then other than that, I want to go for things with bleed magnitude. So Wasting, I'm not going to get fast acting toxins because of my payoff. But yeah, continuing going through what I have on Rake, I have heavy swing, 35% more melee physical damage, less attack speed, got a decent attack speed. Spears have high base attack speed, and as we scale more accuracy, gonna get a lot more attack speed that way. So this is fine. It's probably like the best thing you can do for a Rake build basically. And then brutality, we're only planning on doing physical damage, so just a more damage multiplier. Current average bleeds, not super high, but once you get an aggravated crit bleed, it'll be scaled up much higher. And you also, the nice thing about Rake is that you get 100% more magnitude of bleeding inflicted, and then you get deals up to 100% more damage based on distance traveled, which is why you want to disengage and then Rake. That will basically make your bleeds do 4 times as much damage as they would normally do, because your hit will do twice as much damage, and then your magnitude of your bleeding will do twice as much as it normally would, so that's 4 times as much bleed. You can also scale that further with quality, so that will be nice too. I won't be able to do it on this gem because I corrupted it trying to get another link and failed to do so. And then Disengage. Disengage, currently I have Unyielding for some recoup. Pin, I have plenty of stun build up from my mark, so I don't really feel the necessity to have more stun build up on Disengage, although its physical damage is quite high, even though I'm not really scaling it. I also have Rage. I use this often enough that I can usually keep Rage up, because sometimes it does have a cooldown, so maybe this would be better spent elsewhere. But until I get another link, these are going to be my most, effective Rake setup. So maybe if I get another link, I put Rage here, but there's probably a tier 3 support I'm going to want to put here instead when I get another link, so I'll have to figure out somewhere to put Rage. But for now, it's just on Disengage, and that's perfectly fine. Herald of Blood. Herald of Blood, basically what it does is when you kill enemies with blood loss, they explode. It does a base physical damage, and then it has additional physical damage that can't be scaled based on the enemy's blood loss, so how much basically bleed you've had, and it has a chance to aggravate bleeding on hit, which is kind of the big damage combo. So, and scales up the percentage of their health as you get quality as well, so quite good. I do have Lacerate on it because you can proc bleeds from the explosion, and then those bleeds will proc explosions. Once I get enough bleed magnitude, potentially, maybe enough added physical damage, especially when I get a high accuracy roll on a spear for penetrate, because that should add to Herald of Blood's explosion, creating a nice little chain explosion again. So magnified effect. So Herald explosions are back on the menu. I also have First Blood. First Blood is just going to give me 100% chance for bleed against enemies on full life. This is kind of a placeholder for now. I'm definitely going to want Physical Mastery to increase the level of this for the better Aggravate chance and the better base physical damage at some point. But yeah, for now this is it. And then Disengage, yeah, I kind of went over that. Bloodhound's Mark, this is how we start the encounters. Got Arcane Tempo and Single Out. Single Out gives armor break. Arcane Tempo helps cast Bloodhound's Mark, which stays up until we either trigger the explosion or get rid of the bleed, which we do via Blood Hunt. This is the big payoff. Blood Hunt, so what we do is we fish with our Rake for a crit aggravated bleed. You can tell it's a crit aggravated bleed because all of a sudden your bar for your blood loss on the enemy shoots way up compared to what it was. It stays consistent, and then gets like over twice as big. So once you have that, you'll see that little red bar expand. You then want to stun the enemy, and then you want them, ideally, to be in part of their revealed weakness, which is another little bar that shows up on the enemies. And if you can line all that up nicely, so that requires paying attention to the enemy's health bar a lot, but on bosses this pays off in a big way because it does a lot of damage. You will then Blood Hunt, which will lunge at the target and skewer them. If they've suffered blood loss, it causes a blood explosion and consumes bleeding. And yeah, it's quite high. So the initial hit does 113% attack damage, which isn't that much. But then you do the explosion for 216 or 26%. That's quite nice. And you get 25% of consumed blood loss as additional unscalable physical attack damage. So if you have a big bleed, this adds a huge amount of physical damage. It is unscalable, but I mean, if you're bleeding for a significant portion of the enemy's life bar, then 25% of that's going to be a lot, along with the added damage that is scalable from, just your weapon and everything. Your weapon, any jewelry that you have that has like physical damage on it, or gloves or something. I don't really have any of that right now, but you get the idea. So then I have Bloodlust. Since this consumes the bleed, can't cause bleeding, you get the 30% more melee physical damage for free. Very good. Then I have Brink, which makes it so that this does more damage to heavy stunned enemies, which is why you want to use it on them when they're stunned. And then lastly, I have Combo Finisher. Both Disengage and Rake are strikes, so they build combo. I could also use Bell in this, by the way, and may do so when I get my area scaling up. So I would have to weapon swap a quarterstaff to do so, but I think maybe the combo still carries over. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to see how smooth it is, but potentially I could have a quarterstaff in my offhand, build up the combo, drop a bell, and get some extra damage that way. Maybe I won't do that because I'm scaling bleed and bleed magnitude. It might just be a waste, but it is an option. But yeah, Combo Finisher is 40% more damage. Very, very strong. I do have a companion. It is bad, and yeah, it does have a periodic invulnerability aura, but I'm currently using Wind Dancer and Herald of Blood. I don't even think I mentioned Wind Dancer, so Wind Dancer is the other thing I'm using. My evasion is terrible right now. I definitely need to pump that up quite a bit. So Wind Dancer actually isn't even contributing that much either, but I will be scaling a lot of evasion at some point, and the Gale Force actually does a fairly significant amount of damage. So yeah, it's definitely worthwhile. If I get hit and all three of my stacks are up on Wind Dancer, then it does 150% more damage of 82. So it's like close to 200% damage, assuming you have all of those up. So pretty strong, and it'll get a lot stronger later on. And yeah, Herald of Blood is my other thing. I have some things on Spear Throw, which I periodically use, and Spear Stab, which I haven't used at all except at the very beginning. So Spear Throw actually does significant damage. I was using Retreat and Acceleration in this, and I just randomly have a Spear Stab here. I could throw this here and actually put on my bar Spear Throw, but I already have things set up. I have Thunderous Leap, and I'm currently linking it with Martial Tempo, and the sole purpose of Thunderous Leap is to get over gaps and ledges during the campaign that I couldn't get over otherwise. That is why this is on my bar, and it's the only thing it's doing for me. So that pretty much covers the skill and the tree for the most part. As far as what I'm going to be doing next, I'm not sure. I'm currently winging it. So ideally, I get a spear at some point I get to end game, I do some recombinating, and I get a spear with highest tier accuracy, and then accuracy fizz hybrid, and then just percent fizz damage, and then a crit damage suffix. So I could do a 4 mod, probably just start as a 2 mod with highest tier crit damage, and then highest tier accuracy, and then maybe use a greater essence for physical to try to hit a high physical roll. That might be where I start, depending on how often recombinators hit. And then I will run Penetrate. And beyond that, I got In for the Kill, or I could use Asmiri Brew if I'm having some troubles with survivability, because it would make my mana flask heal my life and my life flask heal my mana. I get some charge regain on both of these, and it would keep me in the fight a lot longer. I don't think Stalking Panther's that good. Mystic Harvest doesn't do anything, nor does Elemental Infusion or Infused Avatar. So yeah, it'll either have to be these 4 points up to penetrate and in for the kill here, or 3 of these points with 1 like either as Miri Brew or maybe I guess Stalking Panther, but probably not. So that's kind of where I'm going with Ascendancies. Yeah, and I just fill out accuracy, crit damage, make my tree connect better, get rid of some of this extra stuff. And then I get probably ES Evasion Hybrid. So maybe I go up here, get Subterfuge Mask and Blinding Strikes. And then maybe I head up here, grab Spectral Ward. That also puts me at Throat Seeker. So if I overshoot my crit by quite a bit, it won't matter. Get lots of crit damage bonus there. Grab this, grab Deadly Force, grab Killer Instinct, grab Stylebender, and grab Tenfold Attack. And then I get 1, 2, 3, 4 gem sockets. And I use those to scale crit damage, ailment magnitude, and then whatever other good stuff I can get. And if necessary, I get like Shedding Skin for some ailment threshold. I also have Feel the Earth and Fan the Flames nearby for ailment threshold. I have Deft Recovery for stun threshold if I need it. Still got a lot of bleed stuff to go. Could go stun build up, pressure points, and like Unleash Fire, that kind of thing. Yeah, more ailment stuff here, Deterioration and Tainted Strikes. So definitely coming down here probably pretty soon. So I connect these 4 points, spec out of these 4 points, and then grab Deterioration and Tainted Strike. Those are probably my next stops. And yeah, lots of accuracy. Got Pinpoint Shot, got Precise Salvo, can get a lot of dex scaling to give me more accuracy with Enhanced Reflexes, Proficiency, and Falcon Technique. Yeah, just lots of stuff I want to get. Don't know how much I will be able to get. I'll probably want some Block Chance too, Flashy Deflection, potentially Glancing Hits if I can't max out block otherwise, because it's pretty efficient and not that many points, and you just take 10%. That's not a big deal. And that's about it. Hope you enjoyed. Long explanation. Oh, let's go with the bad. The bad is that overall, this build is just a touch slow currently, but I think it'll scale pretty strong. It's not bad. It just, compared to playing Monk last in the beginning of early access, feels quite a bit weaker than Monk, I think. Maybe, I guess once I got used to playing Monk, and I'm not used to playing this, so maybe once I figure more things out on the Amazon, it'll be just as good as the Monk, and maybe I'm just kind of looking through rose-colored glasses, because I did have some difficulties on Monk as well, on Invoker, when I first started playing it, until I kind of got everything down. I still think it was easier than this, though. Maybe I'm not misremembering that. Hope you enjoy. If you got through this far, consider becoming a channel member to help support the channel, help me make some more videos. I'll have another update probably tomorrow, maybe the day after. Then I'll try to get to making some like guides and more edited videos. If I find anything clever or interesting, I'll be putting out videos on that. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I'll see you next time. Bye.